Alix, thank you so much for joining us here on I'll Be There. It's really good to have you just a part of it all, and I'm excited for you to share. So let's get straight into it. Tell us who you are. What do you do?
I'm Alix. I am a wedding celebrant here in Adelaide, South Australia. That's who I am. That's what I do. So I've been a celebrant now for almost 8 years,
Wow.
which is crazy in itself. And that's kind of my full-time main gig.
Sure.
It is a job and role that came out of nowhere and has been so fulfilling, like insanely fulfilling in my life. And yeah.
Why has it been so fulfilling?
I think I struggled for a really long time to work out what I wanted to do and went from job to job and always had this kind of like, oh, that's not right feeling. And then when this work came up and someone suggested it and I did the course and got started, it was instantly like this light bulb for me and everyone that was close to me, like, why haven't you been doing this?
Yeah, wow.
I always presented in school. I love, as, you know, lame as some people may think that I do. I love storytelling. I love getting to know people.
Yeah.
And it's such a privilege. Like on a wedding day, it doesn't matter if there's 5 people there or 200 people there. There is something at every single wedding that I leave and go, I'm so lucky to do this, to like get to witness that.
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
You know, to support people on a day that's so big in their lives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How would you describe Alix, the celebrant?
Okay, yeah. Like bright, bubbly, calming, hype girl, but also such a safe space, a space holder. I like to think of myself as a permission giver as well. Some people come to meetings with me when they're kind of just starting all the planning and they'll have all these questions and I'm like, oh, you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah,
you can
awesome.
do that.
Yeah.
Especially when there's pressures from family or often the wedding party. You know, our friends had a wedding, they did this or like, can we do this instead? And yeah, I just feel as though I'm a real safe space for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you become much more than a married celebrant. You're journeying with them through that process, holding their hand, almost like that best mate fitting in, which I think would be amazing then on the day to then have you there go, well, hey, we're friends.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is now become.
Yeah. And it's great that you see that because I think sometimes some vendors don't see that of the celebrant. And I mean, every celebrant is different and there's going to be a cohort of celebrants that are kind of like get in, get out, maybe a bit more templatey, whatever.
Sure.
But I can't help myself but to go above and beyond from day one. And we definitely have been on a journey. Like besides myself and besides the celebrant and maybe a planner, we probably talk to the couples the most before the day.
Yeah.
And so we have really built this rapport and we know maybe some of the dynamics of family that they're a bit worried about or something they're really excited for, or so we've kind of got our eyes open for like, oh, is grandma okay? Because we know that she was, you know, in a wheelchair today, or is mum okay with this or whatever it is. And so it's really nice that the couple have got, like I feel like on the day myself for them to kind of lock eyes with me and kind of be like, oh, we're okay. Like, Alix has got this. We know what we're doing.
That's awesome. It gives you that sense of security. We can certainly testify to that on the day. We've seen you in action, and certainly very, very calming, very enthusiastic, bubbly, all of the above. And to be a guest at a ceremony and kind of be captured into that, as opposed to it's quite formal. It's quite wooden.
Yes.
You know, very very modern. And I think that's the way it's kind of trending.
Yeah.
Do you think that the landscape is changing in that space?
I think so. I think especially since I began. So when I began, it probably still was like, when was that? The end of 2017. So I was so lucky that when I started, the laws changed and like same-sex marriage was in as soon as I started, which was great.
Yeah.
But sometimes there was still those really formal kind of cookie cutter ceremonies, but I've definitely seen it go that couples will come to me sometimes and be like, what do you think about doing this? Whether that's including family or doing something different or saying vows or not saying vows, or do we have to talk about this? Do we not have to talk about this? I think, it'll just, I hope the trajectory will continue to be that ceremonies just become more and more personal. Yeah. That guests walk away and they know a bit more about the couple. Like I had this woman come up to me after a wedding one time and she said, oh, Alix, that was such a good rundown. It felt like we've watched season 1.
Nice.
And we're going to go into season 2. And I was like, oh, that's such a beautiful compliment. But also I hope that's what it's like always, because how great to be, like you said, to be a guest and to then walk away knowing something more about these people that you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really such a delicate industry, isn't it, to be a part of. So to have someone there and all the pieces that fit together.
Yeah.
Certainly as a supplier, as a vendor, you know, our main focus should be on the couple. And we all have a role to play. And yours is one that's so primary. It's so delicate.
Yes.
So to get right is important to build that relationship. 2017 to now, what would contribute to some of that then success to really keep you in that space, to keep you going?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question, because I think about that myself all the time. I think because I find myself a very personable person, and my whole philosophy since the day I began was like, I'm always going to be authentic and genuine, and who people see on my social media and my website is the same person sitting in front of them at meetings and things like that. And so I think that has helped, because then obviously word of mouth from that, people being guests or vendors seeing me in action, and the way that I do support my couples, because at the end of the day, they are the forefront of the day. Nothing else should matter.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just think it's a weird thing to say, like, me being me has helped, but I think that's really true. Like, I haven't tried to be anyone else but myself. And I'm always really honest and upfront with my couples and like set expectations along the way.
What did you do before this? Before marriage celebrancy?
Yep. I had many, many jobs, but directly before this, I worked at the NDIS.
Okay.
So I was a support officer, and then I worked in the finance team. I was there for 3.5 years. But government isn't really for me.
Sure.
There's a bit too much red tape.
Yeah.
And so this work has just been so much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You prefer the red lips?
Yes, absolutely.
And do you think through that previous experience in those other roles has given you the confidence to help set you up in business? How do you go from, I love to do this, I'm going to go and do the course, but what about some fundamentals of business? Because 2017 to now is proven that you've been able to run and manage a business. Or do you get some support with that?
Absolutely. That it's been affirming that I can do this, especially after 2020. I did, like I said, I had many roles in different areas, always kind of customer service or human focused. So I worked in community services, I worked at a bank, and all the places I learnt different things along the way. So one of the main things I think is really key to working with people is setting expectations. So up front when you meet them, like, this is when we'll see each other again, this is when you're going to hear from me. And I think that really helps settle, like, this is such a huge day for our couples, and they're putting so much money on the table as well with everyone, time, money, energy. And so when they know when they're going to hear from you or what step comes next, they're going to be so much more relaxed about it, which is great. So yeah, I learned things along the way by watching, I guess, my bosses and other people in other jobs do things wrong.
Yeah, true.
Or do it right and kind of go, yeah, this is what you need to do. But the crazy thing of being a celebrant is you get your registration and then that's it.
Wow.
Like they're like, yeah, you're registered now.
Do you have to do a renewal process or further training, or is that up to you?
So every year there's professional development that we have to complete to be able to keep our registration, and we have an annual registration fee. And then there's obviously more you can do if you want to. But yeah, they're just kind of like, off you go, little bird.
Wow.
And each person that I know that has completed the course, because there's different organisations, there's been something that you finish and you go, I've got no idea where to source this or do this.
Yeah.
That there's always something kind of missing there. So it was a lot of trial and error in the first year, and just trusting and hoping that this was going to kick off. And I had a lot of support from a few other celebrants in the beginning and still now. And then probably after 2019, 2020, when my book started to really fill up and I started to kind of get a little bit nervous that I was going to double book. That was like my biggest fear. So I was like, great, all right, I need to have a CRM in the background. Yeah. I need a proper website and all those things to ensure I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
I remember feeling a bit like, oh, I don't know how to set these things up, and feeling a little bit like not a failure, but almost like, why don't I know how to do this?
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to someone and they said to me, do you like being a celebrant? I said, yeah. They're like, are you good at it? I said, yeah. And they go, great. You're not meant to be good at building a website. That's someone else's job.
Yeah.
Outsource that. And so that I think is a really important takeaway for anyone in business is like, if you don't love doing it and you can afford for someone else to do it, it's probably going to be more beneficial.
I think like and that's so wise, that's so wise, and certainly to journey through those experiences and understand that, and there's a maturity in that, isn't there, of going, yeah, I'm not great at that, I'll delegate.
Yes.
But in the first instance, when you're there's risk there in starting up as a supplier in an industry that is so delicate, or you have a COVID, then you have to invest in that. And initially you're doing that a little bit by yourself, aren't you? And I'm doing the finances, the bookkeeping, all of the admin behind the scenes. So tell us more about Alix. So behind the scenes and away from Saturdays, Sundays, celebrancy, tell us more about you.
A bit more about me. Well, I basically just spend a lot of time with my dog. I'm obsessed with my dog, Murphy. No, I just I'm just a very big people person. Connection is probably my strongest value. So anything that I'm doing with other people or connecting in any way, shape or form is what I love to be doing. I didn't realize until maybe halfway through like the last 8 years when someone was like, oh, you're such a creative person. And I was like, no, I'm not. They're like, well, you are. And so unpacking that and remembering like how much joy it brings me just to do like silly things, dancing and painting and singing and stuff like that. Just because you're not a professional and it doesn't mean you can't do it. Yeah. So yeah, that's what you'll find me doing often is like.
Are you the kind of late night studio vino kind of?
Yeah, love that. Love a bit of paint by numbers at home.
Yeah.
But I when people ask me like, what else do you do? It's just I'm such a family and friends person. Sure. Like, it brings me so much joy to be doing stuff with my family and friends. I love reading. Yeah. And the last 4 years, I think I've had a winter holiday. So making sure I've got a winter holiday booked in to escape the cold.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
We love all of that, and I think it's really important to be relatable to those couples that are inquiring with you or connecting with you. And there's a sense that you get, isn't there, when someone inquires that we're matched.
Yes.
And it might work. And so for those that are engaging here and listening and tuning in, I'm sure there'll be a sense of that, the paint by numbers, the studio vino, the hanging out with family. Like, that's important to their values.
Absolutely.
So then on the day, do you find that you can kind of hone in on those?
Yeah, that's just so right. People will ask, and you might get this question as well, like, do you ever get couples that you don't really want to be working with? And I don't really, because I think it's really obvious kind of when they're looking online who I am and what I do, and what things I love. If I'm jumping on Instagram stories or saying my dog's often there, or I'm a big advocate for, speaking up about mental health and neurodivergence. So there's people out there that have like, oh, well, we wanted to book with you because we know that you've experienced anxiety before. So you know what that feels like. Yeah. And I'm someone that really does experience anxiety. So we know you'll be able to walk us through that. Or, I've got ADHD, or our family member's got autism, and you'll be able to help us through that on the day. Yeah, well. And that's really special. Like, I had a couple book me recently, literally because they're like, we met you and you're kind of talking about that, and our son has autism. We're worried he might be a bit vocal on the day. Sure. And we know that you're going to be able to hold that really well. Yeah. And that was like so beautiful that I felt like that they could relate to that, and they felt that I was the right person to. Yeah. Right.
No, that's awesome. And certainly we've experienced those ceremonies on the day where a grenade's going off, let's say. Yeah. And it could be an animal. It could be a child. It could be the venue, birds, you name it. We've seen a bit of everything. And certainly it's a gift to be able to transpose that very quickly and turn that around and have the focus back on the couple. Also, hey guys, this is real life.
Yes.
That's okay. And so, we value that, and it helps everybody stick to their roles and do their thing.
Absolutely. I had one really full on experience where we had junior groomsman. He was about 12. He mid-ceremony fainted and cracked his head. So we had to call an ambulance and all this stuff. So we basically had to stop for an hour. And there's all these decisions that had to be made and all these things that had to happen. And then we considered saying, I'd kind of said, like, let's send everyone, because they were coming back after for reception. There was a gap. I was like, let's send everyone home. I'll come back at reception and finish the ceremony.
Yeah, wow.
They decided that they wanted to continue on. And so it'd been an hour and we've got family and friends just kind of hanging around. This poor kid's got people watching them, like all this stuff. And then I had to get back up and continue on.
Yeah, sure.
And I've witnessed something traumatic as well.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah.
Little boy, he was great. But to then I had this moment of going, how do I bring this back without it being offensive to him, to the son, to the boy, which was the bride's brother, and that the family don't think that I'm then kind of just trying to get my job done.
Brushing it off,
Yeah. So how to think about how to word that properly to kind of go, we know he's in the right place. The couple are choosing that they want to continue on. Let's get these two married and whatever. Yeah. And that was probably like the most insane day of work.
Wow.
But had people come up to me afterwards and say, like, thank you for the way that you did that. It was obvious that you cared. Yeah. It was obvious that you weren't just like, oh, come on, I got to get to the next one sort of thing, which I would never do. But yeah.
Turn that around for a moment and look at some of the milestones and hero moments, some of the more positive moments that have gone before you there. Any spring to mind?
It's really hard because like I said to you, there's something in a lot of weddings that I just feel so proud of, or like I could put that up on a pedestal somewhere. I think one of the biggest for me, and I don't know, sometimes find it weird talking about it because what's that saying? Like tall poppy syndrome, is it? Or like when you cut imposter syndrome? Anyway.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I have been really fortunate enough to have been the celebrant for a lot of other vendors. So I've had a couple of photographers, videographers, florists, singers. I've been their celebrant. And that has been like so incredible to know that they've watched me do my work and then been like, yeah, we want you to do it. It is like so much pride in those moments that they trust me with that as well. And then obviously so much nervousness comes with that. So I'm like, there's so much pressure here. But they've been some of the best ones because they've seen the other side as well. They're a different kind of client. Yeah. Some of them actually are harder clients because I've got to tell them on the date, you're off.
Yeah, sure.
You're not doing the timeline. You're not doing this. I've got this. That's the videographer today, not you.
Yeah, sure.
So that's always really interesting to watch a vendor have their wedding.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
wow,
been amazing to be able to do that for people.
Yeah. When you get that, it's such a compliment when someone has seen you and then booked you. We've found that at times where we've shot a wedding and then we have a bridesmaid or a groomsman. Yeah. And they say, we saw you in action. We've seen the work delivered. Yep. Can we get you? Yeah. Which is, it pulls on the heartstrings knowing that, go back to the beginning when you first started and you think, how am I still doing this or why am I still doing this? And it kind of gives you more purpose and gives you more kind of fuel for the fire, I guess, moving forward.
I think so. I've had there's a particular friendship group as well. I've kind of been the celebrant for the whole friendship group. Yeah. And so in March this year we had a group big photo. I was trying to find it the other day. I think there's 5 or 6 couples. I've married them all. And then there was 2 other friends in the group that were there and they're partnered up, and one of them said to me like, oh, we might be next. And I said, well, you better be. No. Yeah. But it's just so cool to have this like big group of people around me. And my one of my best friends, her sister was the first wedding I ever had. I married her and her husband. I've married all the siblings. So I was the celebrant for my best friend and also her bridesmaid. So that was interesting.
Is it a case of get the 3rd or 4th wedding free at that point?
Look, yes, no.
You mentioned it before about going through the course in the marriage course, and I've got no idea. But is that something that you want to see change within that space? Is that something that you'd like to see kind of evolve and grow?
Definitely. I don't think there'd be a celebrant that would have graduated in the last 5 years of doing the course, maybe the last 10, that hasn't thought this needs to change. There's a few agencies now that are a lot more modern and kind of on top of it. But when I went through it, the course itself, no offense to whoever creates it, is like, it's not great.
Sure.
And like I said, you finish kind of going, besides the legal elements, I didn't really learn a lot.
Okay.
And it was just lucky that I had Jess Mader, who's a celebrant in Adelaide. She was kind of my mentor. And so because of that, I now mentor as well.
Yeah,
so I've had a few celebrants reach out. I have had this kind of year where people would ask me questions all the time, and then I was like, I might put this together as a bit of a package and actual group. So now I've got this group of girls that I've helped start, and we've got like a group chat on Instagram. We ask each other questions, and it's like a safe space, because the course definitely needs a lot of improvement.
There's a lot of self-investment in there as well to, if whatever you haven't received during that course, you then continue to develop further. Maybe you can advocate in that space, continue to make that grow and help the industry as a whole.
Yes.
That would be incredible.
Yeah, it would be. But then that, like Joshua was saying before, like the imposter syndrome pops back in, and you kind of like, well, I've got who wants to listen to me?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, well, lots of people do.
Sure.
So just, what's the harm in reaching out and kind of going, this part needs to change, and let's advocate for that, because
great.
And there are lots of changes happening, but it's a very interesting way of the course itself and the
complex.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What would you say to couples that are, listening now, to encourage them through their process of sourcing a celebrant?
Definitely meet them or talk to them. I think your celebrant, your video photography, like those people are going to be with you probably the most, like you said, of the journey, either beforehand or on the day, and they're going to be with you for some really intimate moments.
Yeah.
So celebrant holding space for being vulnerable in front of everyone. Photography, videography, like they might be taking videos of you putting your dress on and putting your suit on, like that's intimate. So I think definitely with your celebrant, meet them, talk to them. Because I think when you were talking about before the trajectory of things, I think we've gotten to a point now where people do want to have a personalised experience. So, or someone to be there to hold their hand if they need or hype them up.
Yeah.
So definitely meet the celebrant so that you know that's who you're getting on the day, and that you feel you connect. Because you might think online this person looks great, and you might sit down with them and go, oh, actually no, Alix isn't our vibe, or this person's not our vibe, and we vibe more with this person because we do know that they have cats and we've got cats.
Yeah.
And that often sometimes that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Is something little like that, like you were explaining before. So yeah, I'd just say to couples, definitely if you've got the availability to meet members of your wedding day team, do that before you book them in. Or at least if you book them, like start to build a rapport.
Yeah, great. And what do you see for Alix, next year after? What's on the horizon for Alix, the celebrant?
Lots and lots of weddings. Lots of weddings, more mentoring. Another celebrant, Matthew in Adelaide, Matthew Verco and I,
shout out to Matthew there.
Shout out to Matthew. We love you, Matt. We have started to run some industry events and workshops and things. So last year we ran a industry party, and it went really well. It was really nice. Like the way that we made it flow. Matt's worked in the industry for a while as an MC and now celebrant, and I do both. So we kind of know timelines and how to put things together well. So we've created these events that there's time for networking, time for eating, time for a bit of dancing.
Yeah, great.
Kind of meets everyone's needs. So I'm hoping we'll do more. So this year we've done a couple of like fun things, did a wine tour with some people, and then we ran a celebrant to MC workshop, and we've got the industry event in a couple of weeks. So that's happening in July. I think probably some more mentoring. Yeah. Just trying
something in that coaching space for celebrants or suppliers as a whole, just to have a place to go to that's industry specific perhaps. Yeah. Perhaps
both. Like definitely celebrants, but I think there is, the more I talk to other vendors, Matthew and I have a lot of these conversations about lots of like kind of missing key ingredients and that working together as a team. And I think the more we workshop that and talk about it, the better we're all going to be at our jobs on the day. We work in a very personal, very vulnerable space. And sometimes I think people can forget that.
Yeah.
Like they're going to work. Sometimes I think you've been to, you've done 500 weddings, you kind of just going to work and forget this is these people's first wedding, hopefully their only wedding, and it is a humongous, vulnerable thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So if we can all ensure that we're working together.
And what about for suppliers? What about the vendors there? Anything motivational from Alix that encourages them for the rest of 25, 26?
You're awesome, It is, and the other thing is like what we do can be, depending on who you are as a person, like I'm a very, I take on a lot of things, take on a lot of energy of other people. So like look after yourselves, like, that whole, you can't pour from an empty cup, or put your mask on first.
Yeah.
And my biggest tip, and so I say to all the people that come in through my mentor program, is just to be who you are. When we're working in such a personal industry, we've got the ability to do that. You can be personable.
Yeah.
You're not sitting behind a facade of someone else's business. So just be yourself. People want to know who you are.
Yeah, great.
Especially if you're expecting them to be vulnerable on the day and to get great content from them, you want it to come back.
Authenticity.
Yeah. And like teamwork makes the dream work,
Commend you guys for doing that. That's really exciting. Yeah. And I encourage those suppliers and vendors that are listening to get on board and head down, because it's from all accounts looks good fun.
Yeah, we just love bringing people together, and I think it can be, working in these fields, it can be isolating no matter what your role is. You're often a solo business owner, or you might have a couple of, if you're a videography team, but you're kind of working on your own. You're not sitting in an office where there's 20 people and you're speaking to people in the tea room.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so nice just to get together to, like you said, know who the people are behind their role as well, just to kind of get a bit more.
Yeah.
If that works for you. There's also some people that are like, I'm just coming to do my job, man. I don't want to be friends with everyone.
Stay at home with the cat.
Stay at home with the cat.
A safe place too.
Yeah.
But no, that's incredible. Alix, I want to thank you so much for just coming down and contributing what you do to the industry.
Thank you.
As a whole. And really excited to see you out there in the field. So thanks again for coming in.
No worries, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Wade, thank you so much for coming down. I'm really, really excited by this, because it's in a similar territory and I'm familiar with your work, and it's right up there. I'm one of your fan favourites. But for those who don't know, please tell us who you are. Tell us what you're about.
Well, I'm Wade. Easy. That's an easy question. Movement Productions is the company that we started. Majority just do wedding videos, wedding films. I film, I edit. I love it. That's pretty much the bottom line of it. Dabble with a few other little commercial stuff, some, out of wedding, portfolios and just drone stuff. But that's pretty much what we do. That's what I do.
Tell us or describe a bit more about Movement Productions and how maybe it sets you apart from some of the other guys in film and video. I've
never dabbled, never focused on trying to compare myself to other videographers in Adelaide. I guess what Movement Productions tries to do is just capture the day as best as possible and edit and showcase their personalities of the couples. I feel like filming a wedding and capturing a wedding is one thing, but I feel like focusing down on the couple's personalities, where they're from, their families, and trying to create a story out of that, which just happens to fall on their wedding day, which is great. I feel like that's where I want to try and show my stories and show my work.
How would you describe your brand, your product?
Fun, modern, fresh, I think, a lot of times. I don't want to fall down the cookie cutter of how a wedding film should look. I think all wedding films should look different depending on the couples.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. What would you say made you kind of enter this space? How did you get going? How did you start?
That's how far we go back, but I always loved filming, Josh. From the get-go, my brothers growing up, we'd be surfing, snowboarding, skating. I'd always have a camera, documenting ourselves, just filming. Then we started doing skits. Fell into the trade, graphic printing trade, but I was a guy that always still had a camera at the parties, filming mates' bands, all that stuff. So the filming passion was always there. Went into snowboarding, filmed snowboarding, like snowboarders, snowboarding events.
Nice.
And still loved like everything involving filming. But with that industry is like you film something, within a week later, it's outdated. Like I kid you not. Like you film someone doing a world's first snowboard trick and 1 week later someone's already beaten that and then your video just gets lost in that world of YouTube. So the day that I reckon it definitely happened was I made a film for my pop, who's passed now, but when I made the film, he was alive. He moved away and a lot of our family couldn't really speak to him. They didn't have a lot of contact with him, just circumstances. So I did a documentary for him that was just like based on interviewing all the family, archived all the photos, did like a 25-minute film that was dedicated to him, but about him. And everyone had their way of like speaking to him without being face to face. So I was able to put that film together. I put it in front of him and he watched it, had his headphones on, noise cancelling headphones, because his wife at the time was saying stuff and I'm glad he had his noise cancelling headphones on. And then it finished and then he just goes, how do I watch that again? And I was like, perfect.
Wow.
So I think that was when I saw how much of an impact storytelling can have. So then I dabbled with some wedding films when I moved to Adelaide, because I was originally from Sydney. And I just fell in love with it. Like straight away, it's just like, there is so much here to document. You're documenting someone's day that is by far one of the best days of their life. But there's so many different elements in the day that you can capture. And then just piecing it all together was when I just went, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, nice. What are some of the hero moments or milestones for you then?
With the weddings?
Yeah.
Oh man, there is so many. I think as you'd know, every wedding is so different. But I think when you piece together some films and the feedback you get from some of the couples, when they're like, it's like a story email. I think they're just so rewarding that you're like, that's why.
We do what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many highlights from different weddings, but I feel like the ones that get me is the ones where they're like, they come back and say, my family watched it as well and they were blown away. So you're making a film for a couple, I guess, but you know that 10 years down the track that what you've just captured, someone else is going to appreciate it even more than what.
Or their kids or whoever else for generations to come.
Exactly.
In terms of video, let's talk specifically for a moment. There's so much that goes into it, so many layers, so many components that maybe some don't understand or don't know that goes into filming a wedding. Just explain to those people like what it takes.
Well, I think it takes a lot of time, as you would know, and kind of like finding that time and finding that balance straight off the bat. But for every wedding that I go through, so I edit every single film that comes through Movement Productions.
Nice.
If we've got a few guys out there filming on a weekend, it's always coming through me. I always get to know the couple before I edit or before the wedding day. I feel like that's a big moment, is finding out what really appeals to them, what's important to them, whether it be their day, their friends, their family, their grandpa, all those things. So having all that stuff going into the office and putting all together is the basis of just starting to map out what looks good first. Storyboarding. So for every film, I will go through all the audios from the day, whether it be a card reading, a ceremony, every single speech. Then I map that out to what their day's about. Create a storyboard. Then I find the music that matches that storyboard. And then the visuals at the end just kind of polish it off. But I feel like every film that I do starts with what they're about and what's been documented, I guess.
And what about on the day? So practically kind of what goes into it, ceremony-wise, reception, especially if we're thinking about photography in terms of just logistics. But let's talk about film.
So for filming on the day, I always try and allow as much time as I can in the mornings. I feel like going into a day unrushed is great, not just for me, but for everyone around. So you want to walk into a room, you want to say hi to parents, friends, you want to have a look around. You don't want to go straight into, all right, everyone get dressed. You just want to cruise into a day, and that's how I like things to happen. So usually I'll start with both preps in the morning. There will be, either groom prep, bride prep, groom prep, like grooms, depending on what your wedding's You know, it could be a cat involved. I don't know. But even some mornings I'll spend 10 minutes patting a dog, you know, because I'll find out before the wedding that their dog is their fur baby.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
So I want to get to know this dog, you know.
Yeah.
So when I do get a camera pointing towards the dog, it's not freaking out and running under a table. So I'll do both preps, go to a ceremony. I'm always there about half an hour to 40 minutes before a ceremony. And then everything else that happens after a ceremony, I'm there capturing it all the way up until 10:30 at night, even like all the way till the end, depending on where the couples or what time they want me there till.
Yeah.
And I'm capturing everything that I can, you know.
Yeah, great. Any favorite venues? Any favorite kind of spaces, settings, scenes that come to mind to name drop a few?
Within Adelaide, there is so many good venues. I love any venue that they're coordinated and they all work together as a team.
Yeah.
The ones that they know it's not just about the couple, they're about making sure that everyone else there, being the coordinator, the photographer, everyone's on board. So they will let people know when events are happening. So we're not missing anything. I think any of those venues in Adelaide, they're all over it.
Yeah.
Ones that really stick out are usually sometimes the private property ones. I did one in Perth probably about 3 years ago. That was like a whole community came together to make it happen.
Nice, yeah.
It was like a festival vibe, and it's just so many people came together to make this wedding happen, and you could really feel it during the ceremony. You could feel it during the reception. But in general, I think all the venues that don't treat couples like they're just another number.
Sure. Yeah, nice. Very political response there. I like that. In terms of video compared to like a DIY private property, maybe a function center, and we're thinking about video here, what would be the main differences for you to think about or consider or to even share with the couple?
Straight up, it'd be a sunset. To be able to get a couple out, whether it be like during this probably the summer months, winter not so much because by the time reception starts, the sun's gone.
Yeah.
But having a venue where the couple can duck out for 10, 20 minutes and enjoy a sunset, have a moment, I think they are a massive tick in every couple's box. I feel like there are so many aspects of the day where the couple don't get to hang out with each other. It's a huge day for them. From the mornings they're not together. There's this little period during the ceremony they're together. Then they go off and they're doing hugs and kisses and they're doing like family photos and then bridal party. So to have a venue that has a sunset location and the timing allows, and that's what I was saying about the venues that will accommodate that time, I think they're the ones and that's the time of day that really sticks out.
So it might be one man or it might be two on the day perhaps, but let's just talk about that for a moment. How much gear do you take?
Compared to a photographer. Mate, you'd sit back and laugh at, like, you've been there, you know what we take. 95% of my weddings are all solo. Yep. I will shoot every ceremony with at least 4 cameras. That's to make sure that the unmanned cameras that I have set up, there'll be 3 unmanned cameras. It allows me to walk around a ceremony and focus more on the friends and family, the stuff that the couples never ever get to see. Yeah. So I feel that's important to have a few cameras for that moment. And the reason I do that is I'd never like darting in front of friends and family across. Sure. Yeah. I know some venues and sometimes you need to do that, especially photographers, because they're just kind of like, I've only got what I'm capturing right now. So I'll always have 4 cameras for ceremony. I'll have a drone up throughout the day. I have cameras on gimbals. I have cameras on tripods. I have lights for the reception. Nice. I also have, multiple OCD amounts of audio. People will probably laugh and go like, how many different types of audio do you need? And you're like, well, for filmmaking and storytelling, audio by far is the first thing in my eyes. Like if you have a story that sounds terrible, no one wants to hear it. Yeah, sure. So I have all the audio gear, all the lights. Yep. Yeah.
So much goes into it, and sometimes people may not understand just really how much of an investment they're making in terms of film and like you said, the power of storytelling thereafter for generations to come to see that. But logistically and practically what goes into it. You've been doing this for a few years now, and so I would say, in looking at your work as well, you're fairly successful in what you do. What would be some of the fundamentals or the core pillars that would make you so successful?
It's always hard to hear and say you're so successful, but I've been lucky enough to get some really incredible couples. I think one of the core things is just reaching out to other vendors straight off the bat. If you've got a wedding coming up and if you're new into the industry, reach out, contact the venue, contact the photographer.
Yeah.
A lot of my meetings I do with couples, I invite the photographer along. One, because the couple don't have to go and do 2 or 3 meetings before a wedding. And 2, everyone's on the same page before the wedding even happens.
Yeah.
We've all got the same ideas, and the couples love it. They're like, "Oh my God, you guys are gelling." I think that is a huge important thing.
Yeah.
And it's not afraid to step out of your comfort zone as well. I think everyone sometimes thinks a wedding film needs to look a certain way, and that's true to a certain point. But it doesn't need to start with the drone shot. It doesn't need to start with a nice couple of one-liners from the celebrant.
Yeah.
It can start with mum dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah.
If you know what the couple are, if you've done your research, if you know their personalities, don't be afraid just to suddenly go, you know what, I'm going to make this film completely different to my last ones, because the couples appreciate it because you're making it for them.
Yeah. Fantastic. And yeah, I mean, I would say fairly successful. And I think for those who are doing it full time as well, and for those who are doing it quite regularly and sustain past the first year or 2 or 3, then that is a testimony. That's a credit to your work, because then you've got the referrals built. You've got friends or couples or family members from the wedding that you've shot who are now inquiring and now booking for you. And for ourselves, that's certainly something that we hold dear. And how does that feel when you've got that referral in front of you? Someone's come and they've seen your work. How do you feel?
I think that would be 95% of my work comes from referrals. I don't pump a lot into advertising and stuff as well, because it does feel great when you're doing a wedding which is like the 3rd family member, or there's a groom that's already been 2 groomsmen in your weddings, and now the 3rd one's coming up. It feels like you get to know the family, and it does. It feels amazing. It really does. I think that comes down to is, on a wedding day, you're not just there documenting a couple on their wedding day. Like, for them, it's special, but for people in the family, it could be even more special, because they could be waiting for this day for God knows how long. So I feel like as soon as you walk in, like, my biggest tip is, like, as soon as you walk into a wedding, like the start of a morning prep, whether it be the bride prep, the groom prep, is just get to know, like, who's special to the bride and groom. Yeah. Get to know the family. Just offer, do you want my shoes off? The smallest little things when you walk into a door. You don't presume that you can walk through a house. Yeah. I think they're the biggest crucial, like, tips you can give a lot of people straight in the industry is, like, you're a human going into a very vulnerable space. Yeah. Treat it as a vulnerable space. Be grateful that you're in that space. Document it as best you possibly can, but get to know everyone around the couple. Yeah. And I think that comes that's where the referrals come from.
That's absolute quality and so sensitive. And we do say that's such a delicate industry to be a part of, going into people's homes, sharing that experience with them. And you have to become much more than a photographer, videographer in that moment to understand or to be able to understand, this is the situation here. And we might need to not say anything for a moment, or we might need to, like you said, lay hands on the dog and just warm into that scenario, which is, again, testament to all of that. Moving forward for Wade himself, like, what's on the horizon? What's happening in the next couple of years, whether it be for Movement Productions or yourself?
I think for Movement Productions, I still love what I do. Like, I still get excited when I pack that camera bag in the morning. Nice. I still get so pumped when I'm driving. I got my timeline all mapped out. Yeah. So for the horizon for me, it's just still doing a lot more weddings. Not as many as I was doing, I guess, post-COVID and stuff, but just finding that nice little balance. Still continuing to push filmmaking as much as I could as well. Like, I want every film to be better than my last, as best it possibly can be. And then also just kind of like reaching out to more vendors as well. Yeah. Working with new people, like new places, And there's always things to taper back the weddings, a bit more commercial work, drone work and stuff as well. But at the moment, I'm still super pumped for more weddings.
Yeah. I think you have to be. You're in an industry that is very unique, and if you don't have that passion and enthusiasm and heart for it, then that's maybe a time to take pause or step aside for a moment and either rediscover that. And you do see a lot of people in the industry who it's that roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
you're
they might have been hit by something. They might have felt an emotion that wasn't great throughout the whole process across the board. But it sounds like the fire is still burning, which is fantastic. If you have something to share, you mentioned there about some new people, if you're entering into the industry, new vendors, if you've got anything to share in terms of wisdom or inspiration or encouragement for those that are new, or even those like ourselves that have been doing it for a few years now, what would you say to them in 2025?
I think just going to get as much as you can out of your couples before their wedding day. Find out what's important. Ask the questions that before the wedding don't come back to haunt you post-wedding. Find out if there is going to be a grandparent there for the whole day. Maybe they'll only be there for the ceremony. Find all those details out as much as you possibly can. On the wedding day, just capture as much as you can. I think don't feel like you just need to be capturing certain moments. Look for them. Always be scanning off to the side. Is granddad about to get up and give his granddaughter a hug? You might be filming the speeches at the same time, or something might be happening, but always keep a little third eye going on what's going around. And then I think in the general aspects of their biggest tip would be reach out to vendors. Don't be afraid to get out of your skin, get out of your comfort zone, and be a part of the day. As you said before, is we're there to document, not say too much.
Yeah, for sure.
You can give a little I feel like photographers probably direct or give more direction than videographers, but some videographers are starting to come out of their shell and go, you know what? I'm going to just start looking for some cool stuff myself. And I think more of that needs to happen.
Yeah, sure.
Because when that does happen, it gives the photographer a chance just to have a little break. Yeah. Whether not just sit down and have a Kit Kat and a cup of tea style, but just to take a little step back from what they're doing and taking that workload off the photographer. Yeah. Some of the recommendations I get, a lot of them are photographers. And the reason that will come back is just because they enjoy that I'm also contributing on the day. Yeah,
yeah. And they know what you bring to the table.
And it gives them a chance, if you're at it for 12, 14 hours, just to take that little step back, you can suddenly look at other angles or something else and say, that was cool, but can we do it? Let's do it this way. Yeah. And I think a lot more videographers may need to do that. It's fine if they're in their own little niche now and they're doing what they do without doing that. But I feel like any new ones coming up is don't be afraid just to do some direction. Yeah.
You can tell there's so much heart still, so much passion, and there's so much that goes into, to filmmaking and to the weddings that we know, of course. But a huge, like I said, a huge fan favorite here, and we really appreciate what you do. This is one of the concepts of this, is bringing people together and connecting, and it sounds like you're on the same page where you're mentioning to reach out if you're a new vendor or existing vendor, to start collaborating more and start looking at each other a bit differently. So I want to say thank you so much for coming down to just share a little bit about you and your heart, and wish you all the best for 25, 26.
So easy, man. I love what you guys are doing here, and Oaktree's just got, it's just the starting point of new things for you guys to come.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Christina, thank you so much for joining us here. It's an absolute pleasure to have you a part of I'll Be There, and we're excited to interview and ask you a few questions. But for those who don't know at home who you are and what it is that you do, please share with us.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for having us here today. My name is Christina. I'm one of the sales managers at SkyCity Adelaide. So as a part of our team, we take care of EOS by SkyCity, our luxury hotel, our 8 event spaces, 7 restaurants and bars, across the SkyCity Adelaide precinct right in the centre of the CBD.
Incredible. What sets you apart from other venues in South Australia?
There are a few different things that set us apart from other venues. I think the biggest thing that sets us apart is that we are a part of a fully integrated resort and precinct in the middle of the Adelaide CBD. There are restaurants and bars, 7 of them. We've got We've got our restaurants and bars, 7 of them. We've got our 8 event spaces. We've got Adelaide's most luxurious hotel, EOS by SkyCity, attached. But another big part of that is that we do customise everything for each of our couples. So we do have our wedding packages, we absolutely do, but there isn't one wedding in my recollection, and we've done close to 100 weddings since I've been in this venue, that I can say that we've done 2 copy and paste weddings. It's not something that we do. I don't think it's something that we will ever do. We like to have every wedding experience unique for our couples.
Great. In the heart of Adelaide in South Australia is absolutely incredible. Let's just go back just a few steps. So let's talk to Christina for a moment. Tell us a little bit more about like who you are, kind of where you're from, a few stepping stones to how you've become a part of this magnificent offering.
So I guess starting at the very beginning, I studied an events diploma at TAFE, which I absolutely loved. The support that was offered in TAFE was amazing. And also they really pushed us to volunteer at every event that you possibly could.
Sure.
And then there was an event that I was volunteering at, and I was approached by a venue saying, hey, we love your work. Would you like to join us?
Wow.
So I joined a venue in 2017 and in the operations team, so the people who would actually serve you at a wedding. And my first event ever actually was a wedding, which was exciting, a little bit intimidating, but it was probably one of the most exceptional nights of my entire life. And you could say that's a little bit lame, but I think that there's nothing more special than love and seeing 2 people come together who truly love and care about each other. I love love. You find this very quickly.
Great.
And just seeing the couple together, seeing the service that was provided and how happy that made them, how happy that made their families. I was like, it was a feeling that I don't think I'll ever forget. And it's something that I've carried with me throughout my entire hotel career. I mean, it's not the first wedding that I ever planned. I planned a wedding when I was 16 for a family friend.
Yeah, wow.
And then it kind of started from there and the ball rolled. But I worked at that venue for a little while. I worked in operations for about a year, then moved into the sales team and started coordinating a lot of their weddings from there, and really just once I started, I don't think I could stop. Then took a little break in a smaller property, and then joined SkyCity Adelaide. And I think because I've had the great experience of working in venues that you do sell both the hotel as well as the event space, it was something that really just pushed me through. And my love of social events and weddings and all of the things that when you see people come together, I think just in events in general, when you see people come together, it's really special.
Yeah, wow.
And weddings, I think, bring people together like no other event. It's one of the things that you see families come together, friends who haven't seen each other in years, and the celebration of it all. So I guess that's just kept me coming back and even looking forward to this year. It's one of our biggest wedding seasons yet.
Yeah.
So having the privilege to work on that's been awesome.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like it's certainly in your DNA just to, you've grown up through that space, and like you said, you love love, you're in the right place here. And SkyCity, like the bar is really being set in terms of your offerings and what people are aware about. But for what people don't know, like tell us, let's unpack a few more layers to it. Let's see what else is behind there for SkyCity. So you've got some different rooms, different spaces. Tell us more.
So I'll start with the event spaces. So we have 8 event spaces, or 7 if you combine our ballroom. So we have our beautiful ballroom. For a wedding, the capacity is 370 guests seated, or 550 guests standing. So if you'd like a big cocktail function, and a lot of people don't know that we can do that, but we absolutely can. For that there, we do have our Southwest suite for smaller, more intimate weddings. We do have our 2 new event suites that actually only launched in August last year, and not a lot of people know they exist.
Yeah.
So they're on level 8 of the building, and they have this gorgeous panoramic view.
Right.
Everything from as far as the Adelaide airport all the way to the Adelaide Hills, and it's perfect for weddings which are around that 40 to 50 guests, those smaller weddings that we do see coming through.
Yeah.
And we have hosted a couple up there which have been exceptional. And then we've got our Suite 80, which is another smaller space, more suited for more of a wedding dinner or even engagement dinner.
Yeah, great.
Something like that. And then we have also hosted private degustations in our boardrooms. So we have couples who don't want the big show, that they want something a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate. So they use our boardrooms. But our showpiece is definitely our beautiful ballroom.
So if we're a couple, it's 2025, 26, how do you journey with them? Is it you personally that takes them on that journey? Do you have a team? How does that work?
So it could be myself, Lucy, Naya, Erin or Evelyn. So going back to your offering question, there's also the restaurants and bars as well.
Sure.
So there are options in Soul Rooftop. There are options in ITL. There are options in the Westwood Bar, and there's also photography opportunities in all of those spaces.
Yeah, great.
And then within the precinct, we do have our luxury boutique hotel, EOS by SkyCity, which is Adelaide's leading 5-star property.
Yeah.
So you go straight from whatever space you're having your wedding in, straight up to your hotel room, and it's all connected as well.
Yeah.
So then they can follow that as well with a treatment the next morning after, recovering from their big night.
Yeah.
So with the wedding experience, we always call our clients first and hopefully have a conversation with them on the phone just to connect. And then we offer them a site tour to come in and view our beautiful spaces. And we do something we call not a meeting, but more of a consultation.
Sure.
The first question that we will ask any of our couples, and giving away our hot secrets here, is how do you envisage your special day?
Great.
And you'll find any of the team ask this question. And the reason we ask this is because from that moment you find out what's really important to the couple. Some people will say, I want guests to feel full. Like the biggest thing I want is that they come in and the food is just important. Like I want food on arrival and food on departure and food everywhere.
Yeah.
Or other people say, I want florals and I want this to be hanging. And then that's where we can really capture what's important to the couple.
Yeah.
Or I've had couples, which is really fun. They say, you have to ask my mum or my dad.
Yeah, great.
And then you find out the family is really important to them. And you say to them, well, when you come in for your consultation, bring your parents, or tell us about the catering. Like if you could look at your ideal wedding, what would the catering look like for you? And for us, I think that we do wedding catering, I know it's a bold claim, but better than anybody else.
Wow.
You go to some weddings and you say, the food was average, whereas with us, it is that restaurant quality.
Sure.
We do have a dedicated team of chefs who do the menu tasting with you, who will do your wedding day, and we make sure that we take pictures and we try and keep it as close as possible. I mean, with produce, you can't really guarantee that the tomato is going to be the same size.
Sure.
But what you can guarantee is that the quality of the product and the love and care that goes into making sure that their special day is perfect.
Great. And so if they're meeting you or one of the other members of the team, are you there on the night as well? Is someone else helping them, or how does that work?
So we're not usually there on the evening of the wedding. I mean, if you ask us, I'm sure that we can come along, but we trust our operations team wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So what we do is a handover meeting the week of your wedding. We introduce you to our exceptional operations manager.
Fantastic.
And he really is exceptional at what he does, and he has a very, very long tenure in weddings, and he cares, I think, just as much as we do in terms of making sure that result is there. He walks you through the entire night in that meeting, and he'll sit with you for as long as it takes and answer any questions. And so you have a familiar face on the day. We really like to make sure that our couples are confident and happy with what they have in that time. Yeah,
beautiful. And how do you reassure that they are confident and that they will be happy?
Oh, that's a really
I said we're going to throw some curveballs here.
That's not a problem at all. I think having one contact from the beginning is something that we like to keep as close as possible. I mean, unless someone has a role change within the team, you usually have the same person from end to end. So you do have that confidence in that the person that you're with will deliver on the promises that they make.
Great.
And you won't find anyone in our team that will say we absolutely can do that and then change their mind later. It's one of those things that we build that confidence through the relationship that we have with our couples. For most of our couples, this is the first wedding they've ever planned, and it is the most important day of their life. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it is when they come together with their partner and they're married. And I think that it's really important that we create that relationship. I think a lot of the responsibility falls on us as their contact to make sure that they feel comfortable and that we're asking the right questions and that we're delivering on what we say that we're going to deliver. And most venues will say that they have an event order. We absolutely have an event order as well, but everything that we talk about ends up on that event order, and we call it your wedding Bible. So if we say that your canapes will be served at 6 o'clock, it's on your event order. Your canapes will be served at 6 o'clock unless your events are a little bit late, your guests are a little bit late, and then we push it back. But it's also things like, just trying to think, that we will set up your wedding stationery for you in line with your table by table. So we send them through a spreadsheet, we send them through a floor plan, and we also have that in the event order. So it's 3 checkpoints, making sure that we know that what we've said to you as a client is going to be delivered on the day. Yeah,
beautiful. So you definitely journey with your couples. You're ticking a lot of boxes here. You're coordinating, you're planning, and you've got the right people in the right places, all experienced, all with their credentials and the accolades to go with it. So speaking of a happy couple, tell us about some milestone moments, some memorable moments along the years at SkyCity.
One of the most memorable moments, I think, would be one of the first cultural weddings that we've done. It wasn't the first cultural menu that we'd ever done, but this really beautiful Chinese couple who didn't know that it was an option to have Chinese catering at their wedding. Yeah. And they'd come in just for a regular consultation like any other couple, and we were talking through the special day, and I think it was the groom that said to me, he goes, "Christina, I think if we could have anything, I would love to have Chinese food, but I just don't know that it's possible with our guest numbers." Yeah. And they were looking at around 300 to 350 people at the time. And I said, well, we can do it. And I think the look on their faces when I said yes was amazing. And that's where the journey started. So what we did an initial menu tasting with them before they'd booked with their family, and that was a success. And then we did another one with them after they've booked their wedding a little bit closer. We do a menu tasting closer just to make sure the produce is seasonal and they're happy with what we're putting on. And then on the night when you were seeing like the big like crayfish and just the things come out, you see the couple and you go and see their parents even, you say, hey, they'd asked me to be there on the night, which is why I said that. They looked at me and they said, we've been to so many weddings, but this is something that we haven't seen before, and we're so grateful. And that moment there is, I think, what makes myself and our entire team just want to deliver excellence. Yeah, beautiful. Any other hero moments? Another big milestone was we had a couple with parents who just wanted to surprise their daughter, and she's a big Guy Sebastian fan, so they worked with their wedding planner to make sure that they could deliver on something truly exceptional. So they actually, behind the couple's back, arranged for Guy Sebastian to come and sing a set at their wedding. And I can talk about it because it was all over social media. But to see the footage back and videos that people had shared of just seeing how happy she was in that moment. And I think that she was actually so in love with, she is so in love with her now husband, but they were so enthralled in their first dance. I didn't think she realised until halfway through. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" It was, wow. So that was a really cool moment to be a part of, and to see that all come together and to deliver, or to work with the family to deliver something like that is amazing. So that's another thing that we can do if there are any additions or special surprises that parents or family friends would like to add. As long as we think it's in line with the wedding, we're happy to work with them in creating those special moments, those special memories. Anything coming up on the horizon? Like, what's in store for people, for the community that's at SkyCity that you want people to be aware about, or that you can share? That I can share. So I'm going to say that I don't know when this is going to be posted just yet. But we are doing our second wedding showcase. We don't call it an expo, it is a showcase. And the reason that we say it's a showcase is we provide a setting for you to meet our preferred suppliers. And we work with Adelaide's most premium suppliers. We have one preferred supplier of every kind. I mean, we do have other suppliers that we work with. Awesome. But these are what we would say are the absolute cream of the crop. Sure. Where they come in and you can actually meet the person that will be working on your wedding then and there. Yeah. which is really special. But we also go that little bit further. We say a mini wedding setup.
Yeah.
It's not really mini. We do put on quite a setup. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but I think this year, a little bit different to last time, it's going to be the space set in a way that most couples probably haven't seen it before.
Sure.
We really want couples to walk into the space and feel confident knowing that they're going to see what they possibly could have and pick things and say, okay, for example, that centerpiece on that table, could I have that? Well, yes. And actually that centerpiece was created by this person over here.
Yeah, wow.
So you can book that directly with the person then and there, or request a quote. And we know that they'll follow up with them because, like us, our suppliers really value great service. So the wedding showcase is coming up. So
what are the dates?
So the dates, great question, very important. Monday, the 22nd of September. It'll be an afternoon. It'll be an afternoon event. So come straight after work, enjoy some canapes and some drinks. And
free entry. How do they?
Free entry.
How do they find more information about that?
So we'll be posting at this time of recording. We'll be posting an expression of interest or even a registration link in the next couple of weeks on our socials. So please keep an eye out. But also you can find out more information by just emailing us. events@skycity.com.au and our team will be happy to answer any questions about that there. There'll be a number of special offers available for anyone who inquires and books before the end of the year. But speaking of a special offer, we want our I'll Be There vodcast listeners to also be treated to something special. So if you do inquire with us and you do book and confirm your wedding before the end of this calendar year, so 31st of December, we'd love to offer all of our I Will Be There vodcast listeners complimentary canapes in addition to their wedding package.
Wow. So nice of you and so hospitable of you guys and SkyCity. And then that just goes to show that you've got the couples at the centre of it all.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for coming down, for sharing a little bit more about your offerings and SkyCity and the team. And we're really excited to be back. We're really excited to see what's ahead for 2025 and 6 and beyond. And like I said, we're so fortunate just to have someone like yourself leading, coordinating and planning. I want to thank you again, Christina and the SkyCity team for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you out there.
Thank you for having us. It's such a privilege and honour to be able to speak on a platform like this and let people know what we do and how we do it. So thank you so much for having us. It's really a privilege. Thank you.
Chloe, thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to have you here as a part of the show. And I'm delighted that you could be here and just share a little bit more about yourself. So for those listening at home and engaging, tell us who you are, tell us what you do.
Okay, well, I'm Chloe. Thank you so much for having me here, Josh. I like to think of myself as self-unemployed. Since I was 19, I've been doing the makeup and the hairstyling for weddings. So it really feels like everything that I live and breathe day to day and something that I've taken seriously since day dot as well. So I started my business really not knowing what I was in for. And that was probably the beautiful thing about it, because if I knew now, I guess what's behind running a business, we all kind of figure it out as we go. But it's enabled me to create a business that's so fulfilling and gives me this experience with my brides and my weddings that I think is like second to none for sure.
How did you start? How did you come about doing what you're doing now?
Literally doing a makeup course when I was 15 at school because I was getting in trouble all the time for wearing it. And my business studies teacher was like, just go and study it. We've got this like vet course at Media Makeup.
Wow.
And then I was kind of trialing different jobs after school and was just getting so bored and not fulfilled. I had to do something that I was passionate about. And my partner at the time just said, quit and start. Why not just do that makeup thing? I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And it was literally just that. I quit my job the next day. I made a website, a Facebook page. There wasn't really Instagram then. I sound ancient saying that. And he happened to be really good with website developing. So I think that helped me feel confident. And then I literally said, I'm not going to have another job to support me.
Yeah.
I'm going to be broke because
Wow.
it will make me make this work. And then I just started my experience with working with other girls in the industry, building up organically and very slowly.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That kind of answers a part of the next question, but just thinking about that in terms of, okay, there's a skill set and a natural ability, say, for makeup and beauty. But when we come to business and owning a business and establishing a business and one that can be sustainable or successful, where did that come in? How did you know, hey, I'm going to be okay at this, or this is going to be a business to provide an income?
I think because I didn't allow myself an alternative, there wasn't a plan B. And there was a bit of stubbornness of like, I'm going to make this work no matter what. And being kind of the black sheep of the family, I had that kind of power behind me of like, I can do it. And I actually just winged it a lot of the time, or researched myself, or had unpaid mentors that I'd go to and say, look, and be vulnerable and like, look, help me. Like, what is this? What is that? Even just like at that GST point, it was like new learnings were coming up all the time. Wow. And I think I just like wanted it so bad that I made it work. And then the business side really, I think, kicked in when I did my business and marketing and comms diplomas at TAFE. I wanted to see what I was missing.
Yeah.
And then considered transferring into uni to finish that, but had a really great convo that was like, unless you're wanting to step into that role solely, just take what you've learned from this and apply it to your own business.
Yeah, great.
And COVID weirdly helped that shift as well. That was the biggest challenge of my career, being closed for 10 weeks and not having any income and everything.
Yeah, wow.
But that's where I also then did more business courses and a social media course, and just like took myself seriously.
Invested more into
in
yourself.
myself.
Yeah,
in the
wow.
business, yeah.
Tell us about the last 12 months. How has that been for you in terms of the season, weddings? How does that look?
The last 12 months have been the most kind of feeling like I'm in the right place, in the right energy, attracting my ideal clientele, and recently just transitioned studios. So I'm in a new location that feels right. And the aesthetic and the energy and the girls there is just beautifully aligned already with my work. So everything feels like it's flowing.
Yep.
And we've had a really nice season. So that's just finished 2 weekends ago.
Yeah, wow.
And feeling like I'm ready to step into the next part of my journey and kind of teasing what that looks like. But I do feel really content in my brides and my work at the moment.
So tell us about your work. Tell us about your offerings. Like, what is it that if people are looking for someone in your space, what do you offer? What's the story that you share with them?
I think sometimes you only understand what you really offer or what sets you apart once you get feedback from your clientele. And so I would say what I offer is an all-inclusive service. So you've got your makeup and your hairstyling together.
Great.
A lot of brides have said to me that's one of the main reasons they come to me. They don't want two separate service providers. So they get this all-inclusive package, and then they have the support of my team who come along and help if we need. And then we walk them through from inquiry to the wedding day with just that we've got you kind of support. And I've got my additional services in the studio that I offer, which are brows, lash lifts. We've got the spray tans there as well. So it's like whatever you need, I've got you. Or don't be afraid to come to me because I'll be able to point you in the right direction. Yeah. So it's just like holding their hand through the whole process rather than just on the wedding day. And having the team is something that my brides have said really sets us apart because we're conscious of them not being up too early. We're conscious of not feeling rushed and not running late. And that's something that suppliers like yourself and brides have said to me is that we are so acute with our time management. We never have a bride run over and we don't lose sight of that morning feeling in control but relaxed. Yeah.
Certainly for us when we come in and capture those moments, and it does play a part in the whole scheduling and timeline. And we hear and we see stories where, they've been up at crack of dawn or even earlier. And if it is a one-man band or what have you, you can see the pros and cons for sure. But certainly to have so many offerings under one roof. And is that like a shared kind of studio space you mentioned there before, but couples can visit you and do like a preview look or anything like that?
No, there's not the collaboration of like the groom and the bride coming into the studio, but the studio itself is like a one-stop shop. So the girl that owns it is a salon, hair salon.
Yep.
And then there's different treatment rooms, and I hire one of those rooms.
Sure. Yeah.
But for the bride, they tend to come in for their wedding trial, either with their mum or sister or maid of honour. And the groom never really gets I never really meet them until the wedding day if they're kind of getting ready together. Yeah. But I would say the kind of viewing happens more on Instagram and online now. Yeah. And then I get them to send through inspo that way. Yeah, great. And translate that into the trial.
Yeah. There's so much that you have to consider as part of that journey alone. You know, when we have people in the chair and we're discussing all things weddings, you know, there's so many facets and avenues that a couple has to go through. Yeah. And it's ensuring that people are on the same page and suppliers and vendors are working together and collaborating where possible to get the most out of their day. Yeah. It can be a roller coaster, weddings. It can be a real point of highs and lows, and especially when you're in business, like you mentioned there, COVID. But can you share with us maybe some kind of high points, some memorable moments, some hero moments for you?
Yeah, I found that question really interesting. I don't think us creative business owners ever really focus too much time on those moments. Sure. We're always looking at being better or learning from mistakes or whatever. So I found that interesting, but I would say I wrote down when I was really new to all of this, I got to be a part of a Hilltop Hoods music video and spend a few days with them. It was literally just myself, the producer and the cameraman. Really intimate and quite kind of boosting at such a young age, like 19, 20. And then full circle, 10 years later, I worked with them on another project. Yeah, wow. So that kind of was nice. I loved their music and knowing how beautiful they are as people. Yeah. And just getting that experience really set me some confidence, I guess.
Yeah, great.
But working on a TV show was pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Just like a week while they were in Adelaide.
Name dropping? Are we?
Oh, do you know? No one knows it, but do you remember The Block?
Yeah.
It's Dave Franklin. Okay. He then did like a smaller version called The Garden Hustle.
Okay.
And that was with Lisa. I forget her last name. She was on Blue Healers.
Sure.
And that was really cool.
Yeah, nice.
That was all Sydney and Melbourne people in Adelaide, and I got to be a part of that for a week.
Great.
And then I would say being a part of the Channel 10 team's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm one of their reserves. Yep. So when I need, I go in and do Tiffany's hair and makeup.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
I love that kind of element of TV and camera work that's so different to weddings. Yeah. It really satisfies a different part of my like creative juices, I guess.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges then, some of the pain points or the stresses that goes into what you do along the way?
I think riding the wave of uncertainty in a space that's so seasonal and working out where you're going to say no. So like when you work for yourself, you hustle, you push, you say yes, you want to do it, but then you risk that burnout, which is something I'm not sure if you've experienced yet. I've done it almost annually until a few years ago when I was like, right, that's it, no more. Yep. But I would say knowing your limits, finding that work-life balance. When you don't have a boss telling you when to go home and when to start, you can bleed your work and social so easily. Yeah. So I think it's finding balance, and that means you need to be in tune with your own body and self because we're quite physically, what's the word? Like we're using our bodies to work. You're on your feet all day. Sure. The cameras, I'm on my feet all morning. with my back kind of in different positions. So we have to take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that's fundamentally
Just looking after yourself.
so underrated. But like if you're not good, your whole business will flop.
Yeah. And you can't give 100% to those, around you or, the couple that you're
Exactly.
working for.
And weddings are such an intimate setting that they need to feel like our energy is in the right place.
Yeah, for sure.
And that we're head in the game and that they're the priority. So I'd say that's important. And then also, I guess, taking calculated risks when you're the one in control of your budget and everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You've got all these grand ideas, but you've got to be sensible. I've made a few silly mistakes to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
With no one to fall on, but it helps you get up quicker and stronger. So I think it's just like making sure that you don't neglect number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some wisdom in that, and obviously that's experience, and that's industry years there behind your belt. For those engaging those couples, what is something that they should be looking out for when finding someone within hair, within makeup?
Yeah.
Any kind of tips or tricks to navigate their way through, a process of booking or research?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think experience, you can never be too short of an experienced supplier. So trusting that what you're investing in is with somebody that's walked this walk 100 times and has got you from beginning to end, like I mentioned, and seeing their work hopefully without editing and filters and not relying on like Pinterest or TikTok for where you're getting your inspiration from, and just not being afraid to get in touch with your supplier even before you've booked them and just get a feel for who they are as people, if they're going to be prompt in getting back to you, if they're going to, you don't want them cancelling on you last minute, so you want to see if they're integral and what their work ethic's like. I think making that little bit of a relationship and rapport before booking your supplier is super important. Yeah, great. Especially because you and I have such an intimate role on a wedding. I'm the first person they see in the morning. Yeah. I'm really close to their face. And everyone's going to see that face. Yeah, for sure. You are also intimate because you've got to be like their friend. Yeah. That's got them the whole way through, and you're spending the most amount of time with them than anyone on the wedding day. Yeah. So investing in that rapport and relationship before you book them. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And I don't think anyone's shared that kind of insight before, which is really kind, especially to affirm almost what we do as well. Yeah. And we know that's testament to some of the work that we do. We take a lot of pride in what we do in terms of the relationship we have with them and building that and journeying with them through the whole process, not just on the day. What are some of the pillars of your success? What's attributed to kind of, how you're sitting in the seat now and having the space where you're working from and the team around you? What's the attributing factors? I would say not giving up, especially going back to COVID for a second. Even the closest people around me said it's time to give up and go work at Macca's. Yeah. Like COVID's not going anywhere anytime soon. This is your livelihood and it's in a space that's not looking to pick up straight away. Yeah. So I think it's just having that determination and stubbornness that if you see a bigger picture and you have a passion towards that, to just like filter out the noise and believe in yourself, which is funny because I have a tattoo that says that in Spanish because I think that's something I lacked growing up. Yeah, great. And so I think that's the only way is to persevere, go through the trenches, ride the wave, weather the storm, and know that those downfalls will actually provide like lessons and then it will make you better. I'm a better business owner now because of COVID. Sure. Which is funny.
The resilience that it's given and the opportunities as well that it's created for some of you. But and like you mentioned there, you've taken some hits through COVID as a lot in the industry did, and some got through quite unscathed or navigated around that. But certainly for some it did put them out of business or in a position. So testament to yourself. And I just want to personally commend you for getting through that. And
thank you.
It's really encouraging, really inspiring. And for those that I'm sure tuning in as well. What does the next 3 to 5 years look like for Chloe?
Yeah, look, how do I answer that? I nearly fell off my chair with that question when I saw that. I could not tell you. I'm admittedly not much of a planner. So in the moment on the day, I'm all over it. But for my own personal kind of future planning, I suck. But I would really like to step into educating other people in my industry.
Sure.
So I feel like you go to trade school, let's say to be a makeup artist, and then you try and build a business like I did. And unless you're really lucky, you figure it out yourself. You haven't got really anyone to lean on.
Yeah.
And you're not going to then go study a business course. Let's be honest. Like the likelihood of that is pretty slim. So it's kind of paving the way and helping those girls or boys go from learning their craft and then building a business.
Yeah, well.
And I guess the energetics around that and that self-belief again where you feel like, oh, I can't do this. Like, oh, I'm not good enough, or, oh, look at this person. They've been doing it for so much longer. How could I ever?
Yeah.
And just working with that mental state as well to help other people.
So almost coming full circle from where you started
Yeah.
and getting that mentorship or some of the training and some of the advice, and now you can do exactly that, which would be absolutely incredible.
Everything that I didn't have, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Providing that.
Is that an element that's really rewarding for you to be able to give back and train others, or even for those who are part of your team?
Yeah, absolutely. It's rewarding, but it's also going to be my greatest challenge, which is why I know that I need to do it.
Sure.
Because it scares. I can do weddings blindfolded at this point after 15 years. Like,
sure.
I stopped counting at 600 weddings. I've got that down pat. I've got you. We're done. We're sorted. This terrifies me, but I feel passionate about it. So that's why I know that I need to do it.
Yeah, beautiful. Chloe, what are some of the fundamentals that a couple should be looking for when they think about hair and makeup?
For sure. I think that's a great question. I think fundamentally knowing what you're paying for, which is usually reflected in their experience, and walking through the trial that I mentioned is really important. You'll see the artist's work. I have some brides that say, oh, I don't really feel like a trial's necessary. It so is, because that's going to be the energy and the work that you see on the wedding day.
Yeah.
And you don't want to risk it going ass up on the wedding day if you haven't got that relationship, trust, and look down pat beforehand.
Yeah.
And going into the wedding morning with the other suppliers that you're working with, it's our responsibility as the first baton holder to make sure the morning's smooth.
Great.
We can transition to you effectively and on time and not have everything going, a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that comes with experience, is knowing that the morning's grounded, in control but relaxed.
Yeah.
And we're not running over. We've not got people not happy with the look.
Yeah.
And it just sets the energy and the tone for the whole day.
Yeah.
If we can get the morning right and do our job right, I promise you that bride's going to have the best day.
Yeah.
If we start her feeling out of place, not liking how she looks, stressed because of the time, that'll domino effect through the entire day. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Like I said before, there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, a lot of insight into your space, and testament to all the work that you're doing. And I'm sure there's so many happy couples and brides out there that have experienced what you're serving up week to week. So I wish you all the best of luck for 2026, 27.
Thank you.
So many great things on the horizon for you. Any words of wisdom, any encouraging kind of thoughts around the wedding space, or the vendors or the suppliers, people that sit in that chair?
Advice?
Yeah.
Well, I guess putting yourself first, that was something we've already kind of gone through, and not being afraid to build relationships with each other. I think in a small pond like Adelaide, people can get a little bit competitive, or that tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
I think there is so much beauty in actually having friends in the industry and not seeing each other as competition, but becoming bigger from it. Like the girls that work for me, we're more powerful together. And that's going to only build kind of a better service-based industry, stronger rapport and better product because we're not playing the comparison game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just coming together more because we're all like our own little businesses.
Yeah.
And that can get a little bit lonely or what's that word where you just feel detached.
Sure.
So I think there's so much power in coming together with others. Yeah.
No, it's great that you said that because it resonates with what we're trying to do here in terms of gathering people together, a collective, to collaborate, to talk, to share. And there's so many offerings and there's so many opportunities out there for everybody to be able to work together, ultimately support the couple through the process and discover more about each other. So I want to thank you so much just for coming down, for taking a moment to sit in the seat. I feel like I know a little bit more about you, which is a beautiful thing. And like I said, just want to commend you on your story, your journey to this point. And I'm really excited to see what happens next for Chloe.